already I see that C9 have chosen to ban away Annie. We'll get rid of the Ahri as well, so nothing too different from their first iteration. The Cassante, and we expect the Nidalee to be taken off the board. Will things shift here for Cloud9, or will they remain the same?
Yeah, I honestly seeing a lot of talk about throwing away the Kennen pick. I kind of agree with that. If you're not going to get good Kennen flanks off with a Nocturne covering you, then you might not be getting those at all. Yep. And Bin was not perturbed at all by the Kennen pick early on, so maybe switch that one up.
Yeah, Cloud9 really debating what they want this final ban to be.
They're going to stick with the Nautilus. So very mid-focused bans, of course, Annie just being a generic power pick. Will BLG remove the Maokai? Yes, they will. So I think Vi first pick is a really good option for C9. I know that it was something that throughout their playoffs they typically got rid of, was either banned against, something that they also just actively banned. And it looks like they're going to stick with the Xayah. Again, we talked about it at the end of the last game. Going into that game, the way they played the early game, they probably told themselves, we were the ones that overforced. We were the ones that made mistakes. Our draft wasn't functionally a problem. It was just the way we executed it. If we can calm down, there's no reason why we can't go toe-to-toe with a team like BLG.
Uh-oh, looks like BLG are also saying, yeah, I call your bluff. Bring it.
Have to see what the adaptations are going to be in the second ban phase. If Cloud9 want to adapt their first pick phase at all, can be just about 100% confident that that third pick on the side of BLG will be the Lucian.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually locked in something like a LeBlanc right now. Make sure that they get MNS on something that can have a little bit more agency than what he did on the Silas.
Straight up blind?
Yeah, well, because they know that, I was going to say, they know what the next pick is going to be at Lucian. And they're actually going to go for the Scion. Very risky blind against the Bin, I will say.
I do like this, though. You know, the call has been made. Yo, we got Bin diffed in the last game, fine. Throw the Kennen out the window, replace it with a big, beefy tank that can still provide value even if he dies.
And that's the thing about the Scion. He's just kind of this inevitable source of teamfight value.
When Fiora need to be banned.
Okay, all right, yeah, I was going to say, there are some concerns.
This is Bin, definitely going to have to protect against that. I will say also, some of the value is kind of reduced because the T1 level 1 Scion play is so fresh in everyone's minds. I feel like it's going to be very difficult for Cloud9 to pull off one of those, you know, Suicide Scion level 1 starts, which is definitely very powerful, but BLG are going to have that front and center with T1 being so recent.
Fiora will be next, or Jax. It'll be one of those two.
And to be fair, we've also only really seen the Scion cheese from red side teams because of the way the bushes are set up, so the angles are just not quite as present. But there's the Gwen. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Fiora follow, but the concern is anytime you're facing against Bin, the champion pool is pretty big. So he's got a litany of options he can go for here, and it's really just about limiting the ones you're most scared of.
Do you know what BLG could do?
I vote Fiora. That's my vote.
Yeah, but Camille Galio.
Are you voting Game 5 Fiora, or are you voting a different Fiora? I'm just...
yeah, it depends what COG will be. Oh, they're going to get rid of Nah. I mean, that's also fine. So now you're looking at Fiora or Camille or Kennen still. Like, there's no reason why BLG can't bring out the Kennen for themselves if they want a little bit more team fight power.
Man, that is like a mentality-breaking pick, too. Like, if you have that Kennen performance in Game 1 and then he takes it and they crush you with some crazy Kennen flanks, that could be demoralizing.
Ooh.
Or maybe it's just a taunt. It's just a classic.
I felt like it was a taunt, to be truthful.
Taunt.
It looks like they are going to lock it in. Okay, so saving last pick for Yagao, and Yagao's Taliyah was crucial in limiting how C9 wanted to play the game. So much value gained from that Taliyah wall, but now the Kindred coming in against Shuna, man, who's so good at Kindred. Galio paired alongside it as well. Oh, we saw this from the PCS. This is my favorite way to play the game right now. Utility mid, double 80 carries. Oof, I love to see it.
So I will say that I think C9 were expecting the Kennen to a degree. That's why they blind picked the Scion. We know that Scion is used as an answer into the Kennen specifically. But Cloud9, we know that they have a very deep pool when it comes to jungle options. And Kindred, Blabber is no stranger to this pick.
Yeah, and especially it's not just, oh, we're going to have Blabber carry pants now. We're going to have MNS support him. But it's really good into Kennen initiation. You have Kindred ultimate to delay. You have Galio ultimate with the magic shield as well. So really good to, as you say, expected counter picks to a Kennen. That Kennen comes in immediately, boom, throw down 2 extra circles and answer. How do you best answer the Kennen circle? 2 more circles.
The concern, I mean, that's true, but the concern is C9 over-preparing for the Kennen, because frankly, Yagao had a great game, right? He was always on the side lane, he was being funded a lot of resources, and he worked very well with Shun to shut down Fudge, finding those flanks. Now they're on Syndra Vi, which is a very well-known, very powerful mid-jungle 2 versus 2, and is something that can very much bully MNS. Remember, in his debut international best of 5.
That's a lot of pressure. Blabber pulling up Kindred for the first time in a long time. I think we've gotten used to domestically his identity being kind of setting up MNS, and now it's the shoe is on the other foot. And execution always still going to be big. That was what let Cloud9 down in the previous game. Got to see if they can execute better with this composition. BLG, again, fighting against a composition with a very strong identity from the side of Cloud9. Team fighting, beefy front line, double 80 carries, so many engage tools. Have to see how they respond here as they look to secure match point.
The good luck, have funs have come out from both teams. We're jumping onto the Rift for game 2. I'm excited to see the adaptations. While there are a lot of things that remain the same, in particular this bot matchup, the top side is very different. Fudge will be the defender this time. Can he hold on to the weathering storm that he's been, as he will literally be looking to bring the thunder?
And as you mentioned, the bottom side of the map, Cloud9 looking to run straight down, take out the ward.
And our feature matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz is about the top laner, but right now there's a top laner in the bottom lane. So it's getting a little topsy-turvy here in the game. C9 looking for control on the bottom side.
And Cloud9 themselves, they put out this little video on social talking about some of their scrims with BLG and how volatile they were, especially the bottom lane. Sven talking about how the bottom lane matchup really early on in a lot of their scrim games is both of them being very aggressive, and often it was BLG walking up. If they dodge skill shot, they win. If they miss it, they lose. In the last game, though, let me remind you, it was Cloud9 walking up. They were the ones being super aggressive. They burned a lot of summer spells off of Elk, but when it really came down to the kill, Shun was closer in the jungle, and Cloud9 ended up giving away the first blood plus the extra kill there to the BLG bottom lane.
We just have to track early game from both of these junglers. A lot of tools to set up for these ganks. While we expect top lane to be relatively isolated, bot lane, as you highlighted, already crucial. And it was explosive in the 2v2. Once you turn it into a 3v3, it's going to be even more so. Same bot lane matchup. Let's see what C9 have learned from the previous game.
Now, Vision was invested early. Oh, hang on a second.
Up, instantly going to get the flash and the cleanse for a single summoner spell. Hugely positive trade. I think they might have been, I don't know what they were anticipating there.
Sven, just as aggressive this time around on the Rakan. This is a much more favorable trade for Cloud9 than last time around now. That is 3 summoner spells for 1.
Remember that by going for the longsword on Berserker, he has a lot of health to play with, but Sven already committing all of his pots means that they have to be a lot more careful in these 2v2 trades with the constant sustain that's going to come out from On in the early level 2. This means the C9 bot lane, while a good summoner trade, for the time being, will have to play defensively, but Blabber already on his way. Bot level 3 secured as, ooh, good trade once again from Elkanon.
Oh yeah, that health trade onto Sven specifically is really going to leave a mark. Because as you mentioned, he's got to be the one with the initiation when Blabber comes down. That's what you get when you run an AD carry jungle, basically, in the Kindred. Difference for the Kindred is, at level 3, you can definitely get down there very aggressively. It's the same ward for BLG, though. I like how it's kind of showing the middle positioning of it. It's not up by Tribrush. Sven went up there with his sweeper. He can't get far enough into the river to actually clear that ward or sweep it out. And so Blabber will get seen again on the same ward as he tries to go bottom.
Blabber spotted out, Elkanon immediately backing off, and as you highlighted, rinse and repeat from the previous game, but now Blabber feeling a little bit more empowered to invade in the jungle and at least spot out that the blue buff is still there.
Yeah, you can tell these two teams know each other pretty well from those scrims they were talking about, where they're constantly just micro adjustments to even the position of their wards to be able to get that extra level of safety. Bottom scuttle spawn for the Kindred mark here for Blabber is quite nice for him.
He won the 50-50. But Italy, though, if he has information on where Jun is, which I believe he does, he can just double grab here. With the blue buff being started, I'm not sure exactly if he was able to gain vision or not, but for the time being, he's not going to run the risk. Vid continues to push in that top matchup very much as we expected. C9, they'll likely look for a base relatively soon, but they want to try and get this wave underneath the tower so it starts pushing back towards them.
Shun now moving in, I think just trying to get as much information as he can as the wave. They're going to ping out the back from MNS. This is Shun's opportunity to move in and at least get some information. Even if he can't go for the fight, he has a level advantage for now. All in on the bottom side. Feather's not going to get pulled back because of a clean bubble from On. C9 keeping Prio in the lane. Find the darkness. Blabber could be in trouble here, but he's going to walk away. Sven just keeping it going. That's the Ignite now taking down, but Elk just wants to fire back, dashing out to safety. TP now being burned on the bottom side for Yagao. They need to get something out of this play. They burned so many resources on leaving forward. That's first blood. This Nami out of control.
Bottom lane is the battleground for the early game this series once again. And once again, it has been on the Rakan, getting these aggressive trades onto Elk, but going down first.
Mounting Dread marked one. Can't get the second or the third. Oh, just trading flash for flash.
The cleanse comes back up for Elk, and he's able to remove the slow and create space between him and his opposition. MNS with no TP means that he cannot match on the bot side of the map. Yagao TPing, I thought, was a bit of a big overcommitment, but in reality, I wonder if it scared C9 off the play. They felt like BLG were committing to this fight, and that means that Sven ends up losing his life. Jun now sees an opportunity to get himself the Scuttle Crab, and BLG will walk away with a 700 gold lead for now.
Certainly not a bad start to the game for BLG, and on the top side of the map, you can see the call already stacking up. Bin uncontested for now. A bit more kill pressure onto the Kennen once level 6 comes around for Fudge, but with Shun on the top side, I just don't think he's going to have that angle of attack. Blabber will see if he can continue to stack up these marks. Of course, reminder, 4 is the big break point we're going to be keeping track of.
The Dragon is, of course, uncontested for the time being. Control wards being invested early. And BLG with their push on bot. Nothing too dramatic I'm expecting as Bin has the level 6. We'll throw down the ultimate, but I think that's mainly just to force Fudge back. We'll stack the Conqueror. Good damage down onto Fudge as he now ticks over to level 6.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage. Meanwhile, another knockup.
Connecting. Elk no cleanse with flash just coming back up shortly. MNS on the way down looking for the taunt. Elk gonna flash out to safety just in time. That's the knockup onto the Nami. Can they finish one kill? Berserker gets him! Berserker snipes him with the double daggers and the pullback. On will live, but now he's trying to turn one back on his Sven. Excellent kill on the bottom side for C9.
Yes, exactly. Excellent. Berserker was the ray of hope for Cloud9 in game number 1. Him getting that kill credit just as they repeat gank onto this flash. Elk, it just came up for him, and he's able to burn it, still get the kill here. MNS, though, it cost him a lot on that Galio. Look at this minion wave that gets pushed into his tower. That is a double stacked minion wave. And on the reset, BLG will be able to get the Dragon, too. So it is a Syndra level 6. It is a Dragon force here from BLG in exchange for the kill on the Berserker.
I'm surprised they didn't actually funnel that mid farm into Blabber. I mean, if the Galio loses it, it's one thing, but you could have actually gotten Blabber so far ahead with all that XP and gold. Elk, though, really has been the target so far in this series. Game 1, he did a very good job of weathering that storm. Game 2, though, C9 are doubling down.
Step forward, they can get the slow down on Elk. The knockup, Elk does not stop. He just looks into the face of death and walks away. They kill Blabber, full confidence. They hit him with the laughing emo, just completely and totally outplayed.
Oh, Elk is too good. He dodges forward into your face. He does not run from the gank. He kills the ganker.
MNS on the way down, though. Cloud9 continuing to try to force on the bottom side. They've got the wave crashing, but Shun is in the area. This Galio has to be careful. Going forward, Justice Punch, fishing for the taunt. The knockup is there to stop any follow-up damage, but the Winds of War will find their mark. MNS grabbing the kill. C9 continuing to push. Yagao on the way down. C9 going all in for the play on the bottom side. Shun able to walk away for now. Berserker trying to fish over the wall. He's going to flash. So much aggression from the C9 80 carry to find that one, and now Yagao has to be careful. MNS waiting for those cooldowns to come back up. The sustained damage from the Xayah is going to be tough to match. The feather pullback will not find anyone. Blabber on the top side. C9 making plays everywhere on the map. Bottom side and top side as well. Bin now going to try to burn down Blabber. The stun connecting. Bin on the retreat. So much action back and forth, but Bin will walk away. For now, the stun, roar of the Slayer, and Blabber will find the kill.
Oh, and Cloud9 are popping off in the early game again. They retake the gold lead barely. MNS, it feels like, just decided to take this bottom lane and retake control, barely retaking. The bottom side coming from behind their own tower twice here from the Galio. And then Blabber, after death, he gets right back up from the fountain, immediately goes topside, allows Cloud9 to win both sides of the map, starts up the Rift Herald in the aftermath, and they've called the reset here for their bottom lane. Berserker going to come up to the top side and push in on those turret plates.
MNS playing like he's got Predator, but he doesn't. He's just running bot at every opportunity. The man has bounced back massively after game one. He struggled to have an impact, but now he's making his presence known very early on into the game, and Elk really feeling the pressure this time around.
And Fudge being sent bottom lane is so impossible really to dive aside to stop him from clearing that wave out. So quick lane assignments coming in from Cloud9 as we take a look back at this. Remember, this is after Blabber died. C9 continuing to commit to this play and make it work.
Yeah, MNS refuses to let this bottom lane fall into a hole. And so he's going to sacrifice his minions again as well to do this. There is a price for these plays. These are not free roams for the Galio. When we get back to live, you'll see the CS gap is quite big in mid lane, but it's critical here to get this money onto Berserker, and Cloud9 know it.
Yeah, it is a trade-off, as you rightly said, Kobe. Like the execution overall here from C9 started off very poorly. I'm glad that you highlighted Blabber's initial play where he basically conceded a kill over, but they were able to very quickly scramble back what was a much-needed set of plays. But the gold remains even because at mid and top, CS advantages are still aplenty for BLG.
And MNS, some nice execution too under the tower play. You know, he gets the taunt, then he's able to Justice Punch to the side, dodging the Scatter the Weak from Yagao. Now he's able to get back and pick up some CS.
And while the gold is close, it's really going to be about where the resources are allocated. The good news for Cloud9 is of their 4 kills, 2 are on Berserker. We've highlighted it. One of the strongest, if not the strongest individual performer on the team. If he can get items under his belt and BLG are not able to shut him down, it'll be easy for them to win fights. But on the opposite side, Bin and Yagao getting further and further ahead makes it hard for Berserker to have room if we're going to go to full 5-on-5s.
Yeah, look at this from the side of BLG, with Bin being such a big difference maker in the previous series. That cannon left alone on the top side with the Scion. Bin is about to cash in on his Cole. He has the big CS lead. He has had pressure pushing in on that top side.
Keeping our eyes on a potential play on the bottom side. Blabber still only at 2 marks. Maybe some not super ideal spawns here. Cloud9 just continuing to fish. Eyes on the prize here for Cloud9. Again, keeping a lot of the same draft elements, at least in terms of the bottom lane and early on, changing dramatically in the second half, but the gameplay still very bot side focused and working out pretty well thus far.
Really nice trade there from Elk. As once again, MNS gets pushed in the mid lane. Really don't, oh, they forced a flash out. Nicely done from MNS. They know they have the damage.
Now immediately going to ult. MNS is not that tanky. He has a lost chapter.
Has the ghost still, though. He should be fine. Isn't forced to burn any summoner spells. With the swap, I'm surprised that C9 didn't actually invest a very early Herald top to try and funnel more gold into Berserker. They have now brought him up to mid lane. Will they consider throwing MNS down into the bot lane? And yes, it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Berserker and Blabber looking to secure some plates mid for themselves.
Bin getting aggressive on the top side. It's a long lane. Fudge debating if he just has to ult to get out of this one, but holding fast here. Not too much kill pressure quite yet, and meanwhile in the mid lane, the Herald does crash. Does not get a lot of damage down, probably just the 1.5 plates.
Yeah, they just want to get as much money into Berserker as possible, so this is the best of both worlds. You rotate Berserker to mid lane first, then you get to both get mid lane damage on the tower, as well as give at least half of that turret plate to Berserker. Then they rotate fully down to the Dragon, even up the Dragon count, and pretty stable here, even though Fudge on top side keeps getting chunked out by the Conqueror Kennen with these ultimates from Bin. And he's been holding on pretty decently. I will say the warning comes when you get Unleashed Teleport from Bin, and that Kennen that has been, for the large majority at the beginning of the game here, just isolated on top side versus Sion. When that Kennen gets the opportunity to get the teleport in, the flash ultimate play when he's level 2 ultimate, level 11 with the rank 2 ultimates, that could be the big moment.
I'll also say our observers just highlighted it. I don't know if Fudge did that deliberately, but the reason why he was not dived there was because he was sitting in a pocket of no vision for BLG. He's able to go back to base unscathed and TP back to top. Now, with the Jack Show completed, he's going to be a very durable individual.
Yeah.
It will make it much harder for Bin to really threaten in the top lane matchup. Once those Merc Treads come through, he's going to be pretty happy in terms of the side lane matchup.
Okay, gold advantage, excellent. Bubble, again, coming in from on, and Spanish is going to backstep here, and as we get later and later in the game, execution going to be the question for C9. In the previous game, weren't able to make their composition work. Should be easier this time around, but going to have to kind of do the exact same thing that BLG did in terms of respecting the flanks, keeping an eye on this Kennen. Bin is the power point, and as you highlighted, Unleashed Teleport not quite there yet, but once it is, all of C9's plays become significantly more volatile.
Another thing to think about here is this
Nice
Syndrome.
buffer. Knockback fights on 2 fronts. Elk! What was he doing there? MNS manages to make it out. I'm not sure what happened with Elk in the mid lane, but Shun Now on the retreat, Blabber continuing to step forward. A lot of damage could come in from Igao's level 11 Syndra.
Oh, give me that replay. I want to see that now. How do you get under there?
There's fights across the rift. On to the mid lane.
Blabber did just use his flash in that exchange. Jun had to flash to get away to safety as all of M&S's summoners drops, but as you rightly said, a kill once again going in favor of Cloud9 as Elk finds himself 0 and 3.
Look, sometimes you live up to your namesake and you just like run headlong into a vehicle, you know? It happens to the best of us.
All right, here we go.
Oh, doesn't know Sven is there.
I think. He wants the full calling damage. Sven just over Raptor Wall. Ultimate flash W. Good night.
Playing play. It's all unfortunate for Berserker that Sven secured the kill, but they'll take it. See gold advantages at 14, presented by MasterCard. The difference is largely building in Bin's favor, but to be honest, against a Sion, that's very much to be expected.
Ooh, Galio coming in.
Yeah, that's a little rough there. I will say, up until this point, this Galio play has been so good for M&S. You know, you don't want a big CS lead on your Galio. You want plays from your Galio.
Oh, yeah.
And his plays bottom side have been exceptional thus far. His play with Blabber, the carry jungler, but that ultimate, of course, the coordination again. It was not an all-in from Bin, not even close.
And while C9 right now, as you saw in the MasterCard gold difference, have their advantages where they want them on their double 80 carry threats, it's really important that they hold on to those utilities, those abilities for the fights to come. BLG stacking members up around the mid lane. Bin coming down from the top lane just to make sure they can threaten if they need to.
Yeah, BLG are thinking right now, hey, we got a Galio ult for free. Let's get our team fight in. You know, Bin does have flash and ultimate, and the level 2 ultimate at that with his level 11 coming in, so they send him back to the top side, push in the minion wave as Cloud9 are fully grouped up in mid.
Come up to the side, stun gonna connect, an early scatter of the week, just poke, raining down. Cloud9 starting the Herald. BLG, do they want to respond? Bin on the top side, debating.
Need to be careful of this flank. They will use the Scryer's Bloom, or the blue trinket to spot him out.
Who's gonna mark this cannon? Walk up to him.
Lower and lower. Bin gonna clear out the ward. C9 has to be careful, but immediately Fudge is going to try to get things kicked off, and now his backline is exposed. Bin trying to find an angle. C9 retreating into the pinch. They have to be so careful. Bin now dashing forward, sensing a moment of opportunity, but Berserker just going to burn the ult and walk away.
Yeah, Berserker burning the ult not to protect himself, to protect Fudge, the teammate ult there, to be able to lay down all those feathers and cut off the entrance into the jungle.
I mean, I also saw that Yagao ultimate come out, and I was like, that's a 5-man stun if I've ever seen one. And so, as you rightly said, Berserker throwing that ulti down meant that there was no risk of BLG overcommitting. So BLG largely just spectators to the objectives secure from Cloud9. Nothing really gained for them. This will allow C9 to open up the map a little bit more as Elk gets a little bit of damage down onto the mid tower. BLG in a slightly better position for the Dragon right now as resets start to come through. Yagao going to go back to base, Bin going to do the same. And you imagine our next exchange will be thrown down towards that side, unless C9 want to choose the cross map, given that they do have the Herald. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them come back into the mid, drop the Herald, use that as a point of pressure, which then gives them access into the river, and they can start up the objective.
And I think the game is going to get a little bit harder if C9 can't really leverage the full power of their team comps. You see these CS leads, and mid and top specifically, just continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And yes, Cloud9 are putting more resources into Berserker, but Berserker's still behind Elk in terms of individual CS, so it's a tricky puzzle for Cloud9 to solve.
And remember, it was around this time in the previous game where the picks started to come through for BLG. The picks really made the difference. This Vi from Shun, ultimate ready.
Mounting Dread comes out, Colin going to be used. Elk able to walk away, it does cost him the heal, but not a whole lot else. Mid lane tier 1 broken down, Cloud9 taking the control, setting their sights on this Cloud Drake.
Yeah, they group up and they just brute force that tower. Meanwhile, BLG with the split are going to be able to get the top side tower and as well the minions into bottom side tower and pushing mid right now in exchange for this dragon. They should be able to get 2 outer towers, plus Bin is going to get the minion wave on top side all the way up to secondary tower. So while Cloud9 are going to get this dragon, that's a lot of gold in tower value being given over to BLG.
Yeah, I think BLG are just playing the map so smart right now. They recognize that it's not worth trying to force a fight, and instead they'll pressure elsewhere. BLG now stacking as 4 members top. They know that Fudge has no ultimate. But are they overcommitting here? M&S does have the ultimate available, and BLG, they're going to take a little bit of a poke, but they're not going to overcommit too much.
And BLG, again, recognizing the strengths of their opponent's composition. In game 1, it was everyone pushing their R buttons together and diving. They respected it so much. This time around, it's their 5v5 team fight. So what do? They split up the map. They don't opt into contesting this Drake when they don't have to. I mean, it's just very solid map play from BLG across both games.
Yeah, BLG, the only one even remotely tanky is Shun this time around. So they have to play off of their minion waves, and they have to play off of those ultimates until they get a good angle for those. Oh my, that is...
Okay. No one saw. No one saw.
Well, no one saw until the observers decided to show everyone.
No one saw.
Well, I guess
now hundreds of thousands of people saw.
the argument you can make is BLG didn't see.
There you go. They don't know.
They don't know.
Nobody snitched.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, everyone in chat. Nobody snitched.
M&S continuing to poke forward, and C9, they're going to struggle right now because there's not really a big objective to force. The good news is they have a frontliner and Fudge, and 2 AD carries. They can burn through this objective very quickly, especially once Berserker gets that closer to that second item. Maybe that's where they can force BLG to come fight them. For now, BLG feeling fine, sitting on a 3K gold lead, happy to just continue trading up in terms of side lanes.
Very neutral mid-game. Of course, BLG have a pretty significant gold advantage, but they do have the tower lead, and a lot of it is coming from the individual CS. When I look at mid, there's a 1K gold gap in favor of Yagao. There's a 2K gold gap in favor of Bin. So if my math is correct, 1 plus 2 does make 3, which should actually equal the gold difference.
They forbid us from doing math on air, but look at you, breaking the rules.
The Welsh mathematics coming in hot.
What I think, quick maths. What I think is important to take away is that gold difference is not reflective really of the game state.
Yeah.
Because M&S and Fudge being down in gold is not the same as like 2 carries being down in gold. The fact that Blabber and Berserker are still in very healthy positions, the fact that their atomization is still coming through means that Cloud9 is still very much in comparable terms when it comes to the straight up power of the 2-team composition.
And some critical things here for Cloud9 that they need to keep in mind. They have shown this already in this game, but they've been grouping up very nicely to create that ball of safety. They know that if they let this cannon get a flank, they could get dismantled. So they have to worry about Nami ult from one angle, possible flash cannons from the other angle, and they've been able to use their numbers to brute force objectives like this, try and catch up, get some of this tower gold. Meanwhile, they always make a sacrifice in order to do that, though. And the sacrifice this time around is, of course, the mid and bottom lane. As Bin is pushing in bottom, and Elk plus Shun chunking away on that mid turret.
And BLG pushing on 2 points at the same time, but luckily Cyan's so hard to move out of these lanes that Fudge's job for the last few minutes has just been walking to waves that are pushed in, clearing them, and living. And that's about all he's done.
Yeah, C9 are largely playing a 1-4 setup, whereas BLG are taking advantage of 1-3-1. Yagao is on the wave that's likely to be pushed in the most, just because once the tower drops, he can very quickly catch that wave with his wave clear. Meanwhile, Bin and then Elk and Shun as a duo can pressure elsewhere on the map and get some deep vision. C9 are very reliant on these objectives to force BLG into an area where they can find these front-to-back team fights, but BLG are playing patiently. There's Bin.
Ulti coming in for Fudge. He gets the damage down, but not the knockup. Fishing for the knockup now. Bin immediately going to stun him out of the decimating smash. Sven coming into the bottom lane. They're all eyes on the BLG top laner. Ulti already burned, and that means a quick shutdown. Sven picking up the gold.
And the brute force play pays off. They make the rotation over. 3 Cloud9 members coming to collapse on that bottom side. BLG, they're going to have to clear out some vision around Baron, but Cloud9 would call that bluff. They get the kill, and they're going to get another outer tower. Yagao will finish off secondary turret here, so still money. And again, side lane secondary turrets are the most expensive turrets. Those things are 800 gold per opponent team, but it still is going to be a positive play there for Cloud9.
It's got to be frustrating if you're Cloud9 though, because you recognize what you need to do as they look for an engage.
Bowling coming out, the stun now coming in, but Berserker not quite in a position to follow up. He's immediately going to use the Gale Force. Sven is overstayed. The bubble not quite connecting. On anticipating him dashing out a bit sooner. So Elk blinking health bar, they will retreat. They get the TP as well.
I love this stare down between Sven and Elk. Neither of them backing down. They constantly are going for each other's throats. This time around, they both walk away, but summoner spells from both will be the cause.
And that's the biggest thing. With Dragon spawning in 5 seconds, Fudge having the TP available, it means that there is a prime target that C9 have their eyes on. Sven not having the ultimate should be off cooldown relatively soon, but not in time for this Dragon. So the question is, do C9 want to gamble it, given that they did sacrifice Berserker's ult as well?
And look at this. With this split push from Fudge, Cloud9 are the ones that actually have the split push advantage, while BLG are the ones with the objective advantage. They've got Shun and Bin taking down the Dragon, while the rest of the team looks for the kill.
In the middle of the entire team, he's now going to get rooted up. Excellent use of the Everfrost Yagao. There's nowhere for him to go. He's going to throw down the ultimate, but that's a quick pick, and now they can turn their sights back onto the Dragon. But it looks like it's going to be too late. Shun stealing that one away. BLG now on the retreat.
C9 should really look at a Baron right now. They know they have the numbers advantage. Shun and Bin, if nothing else, they can force TPs, they can force a fight. They really didn't have to commit like any ultimates to that exchange, and now you look at Sven and Berserker, their ultimates are very quickly coming back up.
Oh, it's going to get spicy because Yagao also doesn't have teleport, so that Death Timer is Death Timer plus walking all the way to the Baron. Ward over the back of the pit.
Just don't 50-50 this, C9.
Okay. They have to do it, though. They have to keep the pace of the game going. They might not get another opportunity like this to find such an advantage for free.
Don't trap yourself inside the Baron pit against a Kennen. Just say that.
Okay, getting lower and lower. BLG looking for an angle in. Shun desperate to steal this one. Shun takes it! CLG bet on the 50-50, and the coin comes up tails. BLG making it work. Bubble onto 2. M&S all decanceled. BLG laughing straight to the bank on the back of that play.
Why did C9 50-50 it? They had such a good position, and they take the gamble against some of the best, against Shun, man. Like, you can't take this gamble. You've got to make the commitment to turn or keep him out of the pit. And he, just so well played from Elk.
Yeah, so M&S was looking at him, but he was scared to fully commit to keeping Shun out of the pit because Elk is right behind him and he thinks he's going to die there. But sometimes you have to make a sacrifice in order to get that Baron, and they don't get the taunt off onto Shun. Shun gets in, he gets the smite for BLG.
And it's so crushing now for the side of C9 because you found a window of opportunity, you capitalized on it, but the execution not quite there. The 50-50 Shun winning out on that smite. Credit to him. I mean, that's a defining moment. Yagao's mistake in the mid lane saved by his jungler.
It was good from Shun just because, like, you can see that basically C9 are just putting all their trust in M&S to get that taunt and body block Shun. And he throws the Q out early, and then he's very reliant on the additional damage coming out from Elk, and then the steal comes through. But now BLG have so much control over this game.
M&S caught out, not nearly tanky enough. The chain CC, ruthless with the Lamb's Respite. Blabber buying a brief moment. Justice punch out to safety. Will be able to retreat. Kindred ult coming in clutch.
Yep, just the edge there. Blabber's able to catch him, save his teammate. Ult for ult on junglers then. Vi ult used to get the pick. Kindred ult used to counter it. It's going to be a bit longer of a cooldown, and the Baron buff will still allow.
Fudge still going forward. He is going to connect on Ben. Can they keep this fight going? Tidal wave coming across the walls. He now pushes for a retreat. Fudge on his own, but he's too damn tanky. Blabber now on a killing spree. Elk throwing down the culling. Feather's going a little bit wide. Elk standing on the front line, trying to burn through Blabber as quick as he can. Elk sidestep, dash out to safety. M&S trying to finish the job, running it. It wins of war. The extra movement speed won't quite be enough. Everfrost not connecting. Elk, he can feel the wind on his backside, but he will walk away alive.
Damn, Elk is so clean sometimes. It is frustrating. He sneaks his way out of that one. He forces the ultimate trade, and he's back.
He's going back in. He's looking to finish off Fudge. Lord Dominic sends his regards. Fudge, health bar just getting torn through.
It still was a really good initiation there at the beginning for Cloud9, you know, forcing on BLG and picking up those kills, but man, fighting their way out of it.
Why can no one I ever play with look this good at 0-3-3? How is he 0-3-3 on Lucian, and he's just so good?
Well, you've never played with me, Dracos.
I mean, what an incredible bounce back from Elk, considering how much he was shut down in the early laning phase as well. He's done a fantastic job, and his positioning in the team fights is something we've consistently seen from him here at MSI. Of course, BLG have been able to extend their gold lead a little bit, but as you rightly said, Kobe, this is a good initiation from C9. They're attacking the siege.
Yeah,
Bin has no real way to get out of this play, and then the collapse comes in from C9.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9, they themselves have done a good job marking that Kennen. They haven't been the victim of a big Kennen ultimate. However, so much damage here from Elk on the top side with the ultimate, and then he does the same to Blabber. Those are the two carries of the team.
That sidestep from Elk, man. He's looking for another kill onto Berserker. He won't be able to find it, but the damage is good. No Bloodthirster yet for Berserker. And the pressure is just ruthless from BLG.
Knock up there, trying to take the Nami out of the equation. In comes the Galliard ult as well. If Elk gets caught by this, it could be disaster, but he's able to sidestep. Red buff there as well. Wants to keep the fight going. Dash to the wall, dash back to safety. Decimating smash. will not connect. BLG waiting in the area, but Sven wants to take Ben out of the equation. Sven wants to burn through, but he doesn't have the damage. Ben taking them out. There is no Lamb's respite for C9. They cannot stand in the fight. Berserker has no room to maneuver, and that means MNS. Another Lamb to the slaughter as Yagao grabs the double.
C9 find a promising pick at the start, but BLG's re-engage is ruthless. Bin, without any hesitation, finds what, a 3-4-man ultimate and just tears Cloud9 apart. Fudge now left on a side lane. Maybe he's tanky enough to get away with this. His ultimate should be coming up soon.
They're body blocking him so he can't ult to safety. Heads up play from the side of BLG. He'll go zombie mode, walk away.
Yeah, you have to be so much more careful when dealing with the Kennen when you don't have an exhaust on your team. You know, you have to have both of your front line there to really keep him out, because with Flash, Bin will get the engage. He does there finally, and BLG get a lot of gold off of it, and they are also going to get Dragon number 3. The extra towers, inhibitor mid is now exposed, bottom lane tower picked up, bunch of extra gold there, and Dragon soul point.
And you can see C9, again, struggling to find avenues to make their composition work. BLG punishing so rapidly, and Bin being so far ahead, we're starting to feel the difference there where he's able to kill Blabber before Blabber can even throw down the Lamb's respite, and that's devastating for fights to come.
Yep, gotta get it out early.
Sorry, I just noticed Elk has a 400 gold shutdown.
036, baby.
Yeah, I would.
But are you going to argue that he doesn't deserve it? That's my question, bounty apologists. Are you coming out like, probably deserves that one?
I look at his play and I'm like, yeah, give him a bounty.
Give him a bounty. It's fair.
North America definitely have a target on his head right now. Let's see if they can shut him down. Elk very close to level 16. The Baron spawns in 25 seconds, and that really will be the deciding fight. You can see how much vision BLG have as well. You look at all these wards littered across Cloud9's jungle, and C9 looks for the engage.
In, trying to find an isolate Bin, but Bin just on the edge. He's just a little bit too fast. The entire team now split. They have to retreat, but Elk just does so much damage. Where did your mid laner go? C9 instantly deleted the follow-up. Now coming in, Lamb's respite, but it's just a perfect setup for Bin to follow up on, looking for the bubble, but he can't quite find it. That's another carry taken down. It is Elk and BLG just tearing through Cloud9.
It should not be called Lamb's respite, because it's just Lambs to the slaughter, as BLG will tear apart Cloud9. The quadra kill in for Elk, and that will be game 2 going to BLG.
You need to send more carries. Elk's taken down 2, and now BLG, the advantage is too big. Cloud9, 2 different compositions, 2 different styles, but again, BLG outmatching, outmaneuvering on the map, and outfighting in the end. BLG barreling down, looking to set themselves up for match point, looking ahead to future challengers, looking to send C9 down to the loser's bracket. For now, happy to have the match points. Sven coming in just in time to watch the Nexus fall. BLG dominance in game 2.
Oh, what a wipe there. Cloud9, they had this Kennen in the forefront of their minds from the previous fight, so they sent MNS with Flash, the Galio straight at him, but Bin with his E and his Proto Belt just fully kites it out. And it's another instance, kind of like game number 1, where after they fail to get step 1 done of, oh my god, we got to get this Kennen, then it's a really long overextension. Then they're so exposed. BLG rip them apart for even taking the attempt at Bin.
And it was frustrating that Cloud9, so many times it felt like that they were in such good positions, and then it just gets taken away from them, whether it be Shun with the Baron still, Elk sidestepping so many crucial skill shots. BLG are playing on form today, and Cloud9 are going to have to step up if they want to take a game off of the powerhouse LPL second seed.
It's a terrifying prospect for Cloud9. You've already shown 2 completely different looks in the draft, and already been, again, full confidence here, unfazed completely. Obviously fantastic individual performances, but I think it's so tricky because you were trading down in that game, but you were getting the gold where you wanted the gold to go. You were waiting for that moment where you could just 5v5, and again, BLG just never gave you that opportunity. It makes it so hard to play this composition if the enemy team just won't fight you on these big 5v5s. But that said, get ready to send things over, not quite yet, to the analyst desk.
What I think was also super impressive from BLG was the fact that they played the side lane so well.